What do you know? It's Betting Above the Rim. It's right here on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh, Coach James Young, Joe Lisi, Don in the all-white, Rick Pitino style, huh?
Rick Pitino, this is the Scarface special. Say hello to my little friend. How about that?
You look good.
They got that in a 46 extra long. I think I could use one of
That's it. Summertime. That's it. Spring. You know, turning over the leaf from football season to basketball.
Right.
Baseball on the horizon.
Joe Lisi's on the prowl tonight.
Certainly so. So we are now here in the Final Four, and that leads to a natural conversation. We're on the Final Four Most Outstanding Player award for this tournament. And I buy into everything we do. I take my time, I do my research, I try and figure things out. I can't figure this award out. I have counterparts on the network who swear up and down that this award is just about today's games and the national championship. I can't find that written anywhere. I don't know why it is just an award for 2 games, as if the tournament should not factor in the other 4 games that we play. A 2-game sample size is plenty, but I guess a 6-game sample size, it would be too much. I don't understand that at all. But simultaneously on top of that, after watching last year's tournament play out, I don't even know if today's games matter. And it might just be decided on who plays well in that national championship game. It might be, Joe. Last year, I remember you and I going at it because we had a conversation around whether or not Stephon Castle could get involved in this race.
Right.
And I told you were being ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Yep. He could do nothing to get into this race. And then Steph Castle was brilliant against Alabama. And the market went, oh my goodness, stop the presses. This kid's going to be the absolute answer. And then in the national championship game, Steph was pretty good again, but Tristan Newton was better. Now, over the 2 games, it was probably Steph. But you know who they gave that award to? Even though I just said his name, you at home have no idea. Because it should have gone to Zach Edey. And I will stand on that forever. And if you know me, that means forever. That means I will bring this up every single time anybody ever mentions this award around me. So they give the award to Tristan Newton. So, Joe, where do you see value in the Final Four Most Outstanding Player market?
Top 3. That's it.
Okay.
You know, it stops at Broom and everybody else. Yeah. Unless L.J. Cryer and Houston just, dismantle Duke and win the national championship, and L.J. Cryer averages about 25 points per game, I think it's going to the top 3. And you include Walter Clayton because of his ability to score points. I would potentially, the value for me is on Janai Broom. And the reason why I say that is not just, how he's performed over the last 2 games, but he was involved in terms of the best player overall in terms of, the Wooden Award, and he loses out to Cooper Flagg, and I think that carries some weight should Auburn win the national championship, Coach. So 9-1 for me for Janai Broom. They're going to need him to step up with a dynamic effort today, and more importantly in the national championship game. So I think that's where you're going. I don't like chalk in terms of Cooper Flagg, even though they might get there. I know it seems good at -105, but give me Broom at 9-1.
When you take it from my perspective as a coach, I'm not, when it comes down to the first 3 guys, obviously you're going to take them if you like that team. Houston is the one that becomes like, where do you go? Because you could make cases for Cryer, your case for Uzan, you can make a case for Juwan Roberts as he had an 18-8 game earlier in the tournament. If he has a really good game and defends Cooper Flagg, that's going to hang on people from that game. But to me, it's Emmanuel Sharp that I'm looking at. I've been looking at it, and Kevin knows this because I've been pounding the pavement, yelling, screaming, Houston for 2 months that I thought this team was going to win a national championship. It's going to come down to what guy is going to make the big shots, the big moments. I think sometimes that's what happens when you get to this. It becomes about not just overall the 2 games, but the moments. Who hits the big shot when you need a big shot hit? For a value play, I absolutely love Emmanuel Sharp at 22-1. Now, I have Houston winning the national championship. So if you're going to go bet Houston, I would just put Houston winning the national championship and just put a sprinkle on Emmanuel Sharp getting most outstanding player of the Final Four, because I think if they're going to win it, right, he's going to have to hit some big shots at some point over these next 2 games.
So I want to just say this, okay? And I want to try and do this where people don't think I'm trying to make anyone laugh or I'm trying to do a bit. And I'm not taking a shot at all. I'm Ben Stevens, early line, right, will, of course, be here today, promises that this is just about the last 4 games. On the NCAA's website, they give you a little synopsis of the players who have won this award, right, and their tournaments. Adama Sanogo, 2 tournaments ago, they reference his opening round performances. Ochai Agbaji, they reference his performances prior to the Final Four. So that's the NCAA's website. That would suggest that matters. Now, maybe it matters retroactively, and it doesn't matter to the people in the moment voting. What also clearly does not matter to the people voting is any single player who did not cut down the nets. Because, again, not a bit, Zach Edey was one of the easiest votes you will ever see in your life last year. He scored more points in that national championship game than any UConn player did over the final 2 games combined. He scored 37 with 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, and was obviously the most outstanding player. So none of this matters if you do not think your player is going to actually win the whole thing. There are some who will say, well, Cooper Flagg's got the edge because it's a popularity contest. Again, Coach, I know we have not had guys like Cooper Flagg in this spot, number 1 picks in recent years. How many diehard college basketball fans, if you said name the last 5 most outstanding players, would be able to go 4 for 5? I don't think many. It's not a popularity contest. To me, based on my lack of understanding of this award, I'd bet Tyrese Proctor at 50-1. Because the kid can heat up. If all that matters is what have you done for me lately, if Coach and I are wrong and Duke is playing in this national championship game on Monday night, I think Tyrese Proctor has a whale of a game. I think he makes 4 or 5 threes, and I think he could possibly score 20 points. And at that point, I'd rather have a Duke Blue Devil, because I think if they beat Houston, they are going to win the national championship. Proctor, to me, stands out at 50-1.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you figure that if you're going to take away Cooper Flagg, there's got to be someone to knock down threes, and I don't think it's going to be Colin Knippel. I think Colin Knippel at times could struggle in this game guarding someone like LJ Cryer or Milos Uzan. So to me, yeah, I think Proctor kind of makes sense. It's an intriguing market, and it kind of goes back to everything with sports, right? Most outstanding player. Okay, then it should have been Zach Edey last year. You know, don't get me started with Naismith Coach of the Year on the women's side. Corey Close. You were number 4 preseason. You were number 1 most of the year. Mark Campbell at TCU was not ranked and got his team to the Elite 8. So we have to do a better job of when people vote what the criteria is and not what you think the criteria should be.
No, I agree. I think, Coach brings up a great point. But for me, if you have a vision like I do on Auburn, you stick with that. But to your point about Proctor, I mean, when you're talking about a sharpshooter that could put in 25, 30 points a game, that's a good pick.
Yeah, and again, we shall see. Let's talk some props next right here on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. 4 number ones, 4 champions, 4 teams that battled and clawed their way here. But here's the thing about 4 number ones. Only one can truly be number one.
Incredibly difficult.
When the stakes are highest, there's only one place to get all your betting insights. SportsGrid. We've got you covered until only one remains. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The team we expected to be a national championship frontrunner all season long and even before the big dance. That is the Duke Blue Devils.
I don't care that people are like, oh, anticlimactic. You have the 4 best teams lined up, superstar coaches, young coaches, old coaches, veteran teams, young teams. This has got a lot of great storylines heading to the Final Four this weekend.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, it's betting above the rim. College basketball today, right here on this Saturday morning. The men's Final Four tonight, Florida and Auburn, an SEC battle. And then we get Houston and Duke with 4 excellent teams here, the number 1 seeds in the big dance. First time, and only the second time ever that we've seen this. First time since 2008, where all the number 1 seeds made it here. I wanted to ask you gentlemen a question about that because it has been such a big talking point heading into this tournament, around the chalk, the domination. And if you believe that this is a one-off, if you believe that this is the doing of NIL, the portal, it's kind of open-ended, Joe. I'm going to go to you first. What you make of how dominant the best teams have been throughout this tournament?
Yeah, I think it's a one-off, but I think it's also the process and the result of NIL and the transfer portal. And I say that because when we talk about college football and we talk about the expanded playoff, and you saw the 12 teams last year, those first-round games were absolute blowouts. They were non-competitive, heading straight up to the national championship game for the most part, right? We had a lot of one-sided victories. Will that change in the coming years?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, but again, when you talk about the top teams, coach, getting the money, getting the revenue to get the 5 stars, and not just 1 or 2, but getting almost every one. When you look at the dominance and you look at the recruiting portal of Auburn and what you see in terms of even what Houston has, these teams rise where, the Power 4 conferences now get the best players. There's a huge now gap between the Power 4 conferences and the smaller groups. And then there's much more discrepancy in college basketball than there is college football, right? College football, you have 135 FBS programs. In college basketball, you have 300 plus? And when we were talking about money revenue and TV contracts and the ability to have boosters put in to just an NIL collective, those players want to go to get their bag of cash and compete for a national championship. And that's why coaches, we talk about Roy Williams, we talk about Coach K, Jay Wright, they got out at just the right time and let the younger coaches like Schreier and some of the others take over. Kelvin Sampson's done a fantastic job, but I don't think it's changing anytime soon.
Listen, the transfer portal NIL is not going away. But to me, I want to push back on everyone that says, oh, it's all the NIL, it's all the portal. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's so much deeper than. Do yourself a favor, folks. Do some research. Go look at the 24-25 rankings and go find the best transfer portal according to ESPN and find me the first guy from one of these 4 teams playing. I'm at 30 and I'm still trying to find someone. So to me, it's about roster construction, right? You got to get guys that you can develop over the years.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Houston, like a Jawan Roberts, you sprinkle it in with freshmen that you have high-impact freshmen, and then you, ready, supplement via the portal. That's how you do it. Look how Duke built it. Now, you're going to say to me, Jedi Broom. Jedi Broom was at Morehead State. He was in the recruited. It got fixed, right? You look at Florida. Walter Clayton Jr. was like a 0-star. He was at Iona. Stop telling me it was about the portal and NIL. It's about construction of rosters. Look at John Calipari. Well, what a great job he did with the transfer portal. Hey, Omar Ball, $1.5 million. Holla at your boy. Great job. Eric Dixon, say it at Villanova, $1.4 million. Didn't make the tournament. They're playing in a crown, by the way. They're playing, I think, a little bit later today against Central Florida. But my point being is this, folks, and this is why I get so angry with this with the portal. You have to do it the right way. You have to build it the right way. And go look at, and Kevin will notice probably better than me. Kevin, who has the top 2 recruiting classes next year in college basketball?
Duke and Houston.
Thank you very much. I rest my case.
But let me just say something, and I'll bring it up to both of you. You look at Patino, does he have freshmen? All the inner city schools, Villanova, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have freshmen or they have transfer guys?
They have transfer guys, but
Villanova
they tanked out 2 years in a row.
Clayton, right? If it was just about not the money, why didn't he stay at Iona?
Well, his coach left.
Well, but so what though? If you're the best player on the team,
No, because
he's not going. But he's not going to Manhattan. He's going to Florida.
Because he's much better than that. He's going to end up a first-round pick. Here's the thing that bothers me.
I got
Coaches have been able to leave forever, whenever they want.
Mm-hmm.
Ask Maryland how things are going with their most recent coach and how they feel about that whole situation. Oh, and then how that ended up impacting Texas A&M and their coach and their situation, right? But for some reason, and we can get into that, when players got paid, went, whoa, the devil has arrived.
No.
And anything anyone does not like gets blamed on that. 2007, the Final Four, the seed lines, 1, 1, 2, and 2. 2008, all number 1 seeds. 2009, 2 1s, a 2, and a 3. Why are people going, we've never seen top teams dominate? That's not true. Also, why are these teams being great a bad thing? Can't figure that out. And as Coach said, what about these 4 teams? Jumps off the pages. Oh, portal. Oh, portal. NIL. I don't get that.
No, but the portal, right, has aided these top teams. But and it's not about players getting paid. It's the fact that the players they should be able to leave as soon as they want. But look at Hunter Dickinson. He's in his 7th year of eligibility. Well, he's still playing basketball. He's going to be 35 years old.
But that's COVID.
I mean, that's the problem.
These guys, look, Chad Baker Mazar being as old as Luka Doncic is a COVID thing. I don't like it. I don't like it either. I think it's crazy.
The COVID thing's done. The COVID thing's done.
Well, these guys are still finding eligibility somewhere lost in there.
College football, 27 years old, 28 years old.
get a job in the back.
It's not about the money so much because I do think they deserve to be paid. That's not it in a nutshell, and the coaches have taken advantage. It's the fact that they're getting paid and they're luring these kids for $9 million to go to a program.
Well, listen, AJ Dybonsa got a bag. We'll talk player props next right here on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. 4 number ones, 4 champions, 4 teams that battled and clawed their way here. But here's the thing about 4 number ones. Only one can truly be number one.
Incredibly difficult.
When the stakes are highest, there's only one place to get all your betting insights. SportsGrid. We've got you covered until only one remains. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The team we expected to be a national championship frontrunner all season long and even before the big dance. That is the Duke Blue Devils.
I don't care that people are like, oh, anticlimactic. You have the 4 best teams lined up, superstar coaches, young coaches, old coaches, veteran teams, young teams. This has got a lot of great storylines heading to the Final Four this weekend.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Live right here on SportsGrid, some superstars in action today across these games. I want to focus in on them, and I want to start with arguably the most important player today because he comes with question marks that no other star does, and that's Johni Broome. Now, we know how great Johni Broome is, and, man, he's been on a heater his last 2 games. 47 points and 30 rebounds against Michigan and Michigan State combined. The questions are the health, Joe. You're dialed in on Auburn today. How do you feel about Johni Broome heading into the matchup and how it relates to the prop market?
I still think he'll be effective, but again, from the points perspective, I'm not looking at that. Obviously, He put in 25. He did hurt the hyperextended elbow. Still looking at the rebounds. He's been a factor. I talked about it. Last 2 games, 16 and 14 respectively, right? That's 15 per game. Now, does he get 15 against Florida? I don't know about that, but at least 10 to 12 in that area. I think 20 points is still in the area of where he could be productive. I expect him to get to the line. He looked like he shot free throws with the elbow last week, Coach. I know he's wearing like a protective arm brace on there. We'll see in the first half, but I still think, 20 and 12 isn't out of the realm of possibility today. You have to ride the hot hand. And the fact that he might be a little bit banged up, still down low, dunks, layups, the ability to get fouled and go to the free throw line, still looking at Broome to be a factor. That's why I like Auburn today. Again, rebounds I would probably lean to more than points, but I expect him to be effective in this matchup.
See, to me, when I look at Johni Broome, if I'm looking at anything, I'm looking at the rebounds.
Okay.
Because with Chinaloo, with Houck, with Condon, he's going to have to do an absolute huge responsibility in controlling the boards, particularly when he's got to deal with Chinaloo. If you think about getting 10.9 or, he gets 10.9 rebounds a game. He's gone 11 or more the last 4 games. The consistency is there. You look at the game, the 90-81 game, that was a loss. 11 rebounds, 18 points, or 19 points. So to me, I think he probably goes just under the point prop. I also do like the fact that I think Golden's going to run different guys. I would run big on big double teams and force the ball out. But to me, the rebounds are what I'm most comfortable with Johni Broome. He's got to rebound the ball because Florida is one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country.
I would look towards the main 3. You can get a -115 on DraftKings for Johni Broome. Yeah. I think he will be willing to step out a little bit today.
And that's matchup based too. If it's Chinaloo, he's going to bring him outside.
Well, it's also the fact that when his, the arm injury was at its worst, he checks back into that game and immediately shot a 3. I think there's going to be some comfort there for Johni Broome. Again, only one make at -115. On the other side of this game, it is Iona's finest, and that's Walter Clayton Jr. Yes, I do take a lot of pride in the fact that this kid went to Iona.
Rick Pitino, Iona's
No. I'd say Tim
Jack,
Cruz.
Right? Jack.
Listen, Walt made a decision. He could have gone to St. John's. Went to Florida, and nobody talks about that.
More money.
30. So Rick couldn't fit. Rick was keeping it for himself.
Vitamin wanted to have the money ready for him.
Florida, they have deep pockets down there.
Yeah, I know St. John's is hurting. A 30-piece against Texas Tech for Walter Clayton. Has 23 or more in 3 of the 4 games so far in this tournament, Joe. Sell, stay away. What are the thoughts?
I mean, 25, you're getting still plus value, plus 235. I mean, I find it hard not to say that the big stars don't step up in terms of this matchup. I honestly believe that. If Florida's going to have a shot and they're a 2.5-point favorite to not only just win and cover the line, but move on and win a national championship, you need your best player to step up. Do we expect the big man? 4-7? Is he going to shoot that again against Texas Tech? Is that what we're expecting against Auburn?
It depends what you're keeping away from us. I don't know.
No, I don't have. I'm on Auburn today. Here's the thing. I believe that 2 players, in my opinion, have to step up for Florida to win. I think it's Condon on the rebounds, and I think it's Clayton for the points. You know, I do believe that this game is high scoring. So Clayton to get to 25 at plus 235 is pretty good for me. You want to take him at 20? He's still minus 120. It's not minus 180, 190, right? I still think the book is leaning to the under for this total. I see it the other way. Both teams know each other, Coach, and that familiarity early on, I think they push tempo. I think you get a first-half total here.
No, I think there's going to be points here. And to me, if you're looking at guys besides Walter Clayton Jr., especially threes, I do like how, because I think he's going to get the shot attempts. Elijah Martin, 2+ made threes, minus 136. Been in the Final Four. Not scared of the big moment. He'll take some big shots as well today.
Walter Clayton's in a big-time bounce-back spot rebounds-wise to get 4s around minus 114. Ooh, all right, 6, 8, 10. I'm watching it go double-double. All right, so triple-double maybe. Let's talk Duke Houston next right here on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. 4 number ones, 4 champions, 4 teams that battled and clawed their way here. But here's the thing about 4 number ones. Only one can truly be number one.
Incredibly difficult.
When the stakes are highest, there's only one place to get all your betting insights. SportsGrid. We've got you covered until only one remains. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The team we expected to be a national championship frontrunner all season long and even before the big dance. That is the Duke Blue Devils.
I don't care that people are like, oh, anticlimactic. You have the 4 best teams lined up, superstar coaches, young coaches, old coaches, veteran teams, young teams. This has got a lot of great storylines heading to the Final Four this weekend.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Duke versus Houston. The number 1 seeds will battle it out. throughout today's slate. We start with the night game, though, here as we try and go through all of our remaining breakdowns and picks for what should be two excellent, we hope will be two excellent games later today. Duke is a 5.5-point favorite. Total in this game is 136.5. Tell me, Joe, the side you like here, maybe who the X factor of this game is.
Yeah, I like Houston plus the points, but again, outright in terms of the money line, I'm a little skeptical. I still think Duke could potentially win a very close game. Maybe, Coach said in the 50s or 60s, 63-60 in terms of that matchup. I actually think could be a little bit higher, 73-70 for both of these teams. But I like Houston with the points. I think LJ Cryer, to me, is the X factor. When he scores, they're in these games defensively as well. I told you, when he struggled against Purdue, they were on life support. When he breaks out, he has 17 points. That opens up Sharp. That opens up everybody else in terms of their offense. I still think they're battle-tested. I like them going into this ball game, Coach. I think three-point defense is an X factor for me. 27% they've held opponents in this tournament. We know that Duke likes to shoot the three. They might win, but give me the points with the Cougars. I like them now that we're up into that area, 5 points.
Yeah. I mean, I've been on Houston, like I said, better part of 2 months, so I'm not coming off it. I like Houston plus the points, and I'll take them on the money line today. I just think this is a style fight that I don't think Duke is prepared for. You think about my years of coaching. Sometimes you can't simulate it. Like you what are you going to do? You're going to put like NBA guys like in regards to like thickness and how big and quick they move and say, all right, go against these guys in practice. You can't do it. So to me, styles make fights. I think this is obviously Houston plus points, sprinkle on money line. And Joe, unfortunately, I think this game's a dead under. I think this game is going to be a heavyweight fight. I think it's going to be a heavyweight fight in which they're not throwing bombs right away. There's going to be 6-7 minutes of just feeling each other out and kind of seeing where the gaps are, where we can get things to kind of give us an advantage. And I think this game's going to be played so tight and so close because Calvin Sampson can't let this game get away from him that I think it slows down half court. Neither team presses a lot. I think this game goes under.
So for me, one of the guys that I felt would be an X factor is Kamal Malawach. And look, you break into an NBA breakdown. If this kid went off the board second overall, I don't think I would think that's nuts. 7'2", can move on the perimeter, can actually shoot it a little bit. Great rim protector, finishes every lob under the sun. No one on Houston matches up with him really size for size. Certainly not in that starting lineup. Juwan Roberts is a great college big. He's 6'8". JoJo Tugler, one of the best defensive players in the country, is 6'8". These guys are very long, but they are not as big and as much of a presence as few are as big as Malawach. However, and what helped push me over the line even more to Houston is, albeit a small sample size, these type of matchups have not been all that kind to Malawach. He struggled mightily against Clemson and actually fouled out of that game. Finished with just 3 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 fouls. A physical matchup, a very young player, maybe a little overzealous, and you end up fouling. Auburn, much earlier in the year, only played 15 minutes, finished with 2 and 3. Kansas, 4 and 1.
That's the one.
So I think that if I'm wrong on Malawach, who I'm playing under 16.5 points and rebounds, I'm going to be wrong across the card. He could be an X factor in this game. Cooper's favorite lob threat, right? They run the pick and roll with him all day. Houston's going to be ready for it. They will. And look, it's not my favorite bit of analysis, but I do think he's going to catch a couple of elbows in the ribs. I do. And I think that could be a little bit jarring when you're just playing these up and down NBA games against Bama and Arizona. I think we see the Cougars certainly cover the 5.5. I still believe they win this game, Joe.
No, I agree with you, and that's why I like Cooper Flagg for the assist, because what you said with Malawach, you know, the alley-oops and the ability to play maybe more of a half-court style, that they're going to have to work for open shots, and that's why I still like Cooper Flagg. I took a look at the assist market. I know you disagree, but plus 124 for 6 assists. You can get plus 430 for 8 assists in terms of this matchup. So pretty good value on Cooper Flagg. I still go with Knippel for the points. I told you, he's the hot hand. He's averaged 20.5 over the last 2 games. I think he could break out potentially from three-point land as well. I like him a little bit better than Proctor. But here's the other thing, Kevin and Coach, that we talk about. We talk about the totals for Duke, right?
Yeah.
You know, high total against Arizona. Another high total against Baylor, right? 150, 149s we've seen. We saw 126.5 from 121.5 at Houston and Tennessee. Now we're up to 136.5, right? We're getting basically almost 20 points of discount from a Duke total, and we're about 3 or 4 points higher than what a Houston total typically is in that area, 133.5, right? I like the points here, Coach. I know it might be a feeling out process, but I still feel, and this is where maybe we could, disagree, but I feel Duke is much better in transition than Tennessee was. And do we really believe that Lanier, that shot 1 of 11 to start, right? Do we feel Knippel, Proctor, and even Flagg are going to start that way against Houston? I just don't see it. That's why I like the over.
Listen, you make valid points in regards to the offensive acumen of the Duke team, but there is no team that I can remember in a long time that gets you to play their way like Houston. They just, it's something in what they do, and it becomes incredibly frustrating when you have the ball and they're on you, and they're on you, and they're on you. And unless it's a steal, it's a rebound, walk it up, don't get it to your offense for about 16 seconds, try and score, make you rinse and repeat. I just think Duke is going to be in a spot where they're going to be very uncomfortable, and for these young kids, it's going to be the first time they're being comfortable all season.
Big picture, just wanted to bring this up. The fact that Florida and Auburn have come from behind in terms of deficits. Big picture, do we give the edge to both of those teams over
Not
Duke?
for me.
Okay, I'm just curious. I'm just saying because
I think
both
it's a fair
Houston
question.
and Duke do a great job of dictating tempo.
Yeah.
They haven't trailed in terms of this tournament.
I want to make this clear. This is what happens when you don't have an NC State in the Final Four like we did last year. Every single one of these teams absolutely can win the championship. I will be on the winner of this game in the championship game almost assuredly, but it does not mean that someone will walk in on that day and potentially go, hey, I like Florida, or hey, I like Auburn, and I'll go, hey, get a load of this guy. No way. I want to say this on the other side of it, though, because while I am on Houston, if you look at the resume for the Cougs, close losses, all by 5 or less. Who are the losses? Auburn, Alabama, the outlier San Diego State game, and Texas Tech. Elite offense, elite offense, elite offense. Auburn, Bama, and Texas Tech, you very much can 5 best offenses in college basketball. Those 3, add in Florida, but Duke would still be number 1. That is going to still be a change of pace for them. Can't wait to break that game down and watch it in its entirety. Let's break down Florida and Auburn, game number 1 of today's Final Four. Next right here, it is Betting Above the Rim, college basketball today. Kevin Walsh, Joe Lisi, and Coach James Young. We'll be right back on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. 4 number ones, 4 champions, 4 teams that battled and clawed their way here. But here's the thing about 4 number ones. Only one can truly be number one.
Incredibly difficult.
When the stakes are highest, there's only one place to get all your betting insights. SportsGrid. We've got you covered until only one remains. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The team we expected to be a national championship frontrunner all season long and even before the big dance. That is the Duke Blue Devils.
I don't care that people are like, oh, anticlimactic. You have the 4 best teams lined up, superstar coaches, young coaches, old coaches, veteran teams, young teams. This has got a lot of great storylines heading to the Final Four this weekend.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
It is a battle on the desk. The head-to-head that you've been waiting for. Joe Lisi versus Coach James Young. Just how you drew it up.
Well, you're in it too. What do you mean? You're
What do you mean?
He's the host. He's like, setting it
I
up.
feel like I'm being jumped a little bit here.
No, jumped. What are you? No, what are you? Oh, come on. This guy. Listen, I might be on a side in this game. I mean, I am on a side in this game. We are going to do our best bets. We'll be able to reset. My best bet is a side in a different game. But for the gentleman here, neither one of them even interested in the points, which makes it even more enticing, fascinating, fun. You almost want to call an audible. Check Panther.
No check.
Get Lisi during the in-game live for this one here. Skipping town Joey. All right. Straight to the Bahamas at the in 15 minutes.
Bahama Joe?
This guy off to a resort. He'll be back for the draft. I got to respect it. It's a 2.5-point number. It's a 159.5 total. Talk to me here, Lisi. Tiger Joey.
Yeah, Tiger Joey's buying into Bruce Pearl and Janai Broome, and I really like the identity of this team offensively and defensively. I know Broome's potentially a little bit banged up, but I don't care. I talk about how they've come into form from an offensive perspective. He's averaged 23.5 points per game, 15 rebounds. I like the fact that they're playing him down low. He's getting and eating against, other opponents. And I just think Auburn, from a defensive perspective, Coach, could go toe-to-toe with Florida. Florida has lived and died over the last couple of games in terms of the three-point shot. They've only averaged throughout the last couple of games 38%. That's what allowed them to come from behind against Texas Tech. Look at the last 2 games against Michigan and Michigan State, respectively. They held both of those opponents to 30% from three-point land and 29%. Give me Auburn outright. I think they win.
Tiger Joe.
I respectfully disagree. I am on Florida, and maybe this is because I was against Florida against UConn. I went against them. I was against Florida against Texas Tech. But watching this team closely, you could argue that, yeah, they've had close calls. But when they turn it on, there's a level of gear that they can hit that I don't even think Auburn can keep up with the different ways that I think that they could score the ball. I look at that second half against Maryland. It was thoroughly impressed. And maybe also what I'm doing is maybe I'm discounting Michigan and Michigan State, and I'm really selling more on Texas Tech and UConn in my belief in those 2 teams versus the other 2. So to me, I just look at the fact of you have a closer, Walter Clayton Jr., the best guard of any guard in the group. I think you have enough size with Chinaloo and Hout and Condon that could neutralize Janai Broome. And I just think in this moment, in this time, I think Florida has been maybe not playing the better basketball in regards to the last couple of tournament games, but the sample size that I've looked at over the course of the last 2 months, they've been really impressive. I like Florida on the money line today.
I look at this game and I say, man, maybe I should just stick to the props. You know, I don't want to get in between these guys. I mean, they're fighting like cats and dogs. I mean, goodness.
Trying to create something here.
I'm trying to get a little something going.
Trying
to get a little something. I don't know.
If I hear about this Chinaloo one more time, it
is
could be
a
at the last
Chinaloo
house.
What is this Chinaloo number? Let's see.
I think Condon's the guy. We'll
awesome.
see. First of all, you better hope Condon and Chinaloo both get about 30 rebounds respectively. All right? I'm just saying that right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying.
All right.
Battle-tested. Pettiford, Miles Kelly.
Yeah. So let me talk about Miles Kelly. Because to me, I don't think that this game will be decided by Janai Broome or Walter Clayton. I think it will be a 2-on-2 tag team special of Elijah Martin and Will Richard for Florida and Miles Kelly and Chad Baker-Mazara for Auburn. I'm actually on 3 of those 4 players over their numbers in today's game. The only one I'm not is Martin. I think the Kelly-Baker-Mazara combo is so incredibly due. You all know how I am as a bettor. You know I love my bounce-back spots. Baker-Mazara's last 2 games, he is 4 of 19 from the field, 6 points in each. He is due to step up. Miles Kelly, my oh my, 5 made shots on 27 attempts in his last 3 games. Has not cracked double digits in any. A much better player than that. I think one of these guys, Lisi, could potentially hit the 20 marker.
Hopefully it's Miles Kelly, because I do have him in a parlay at 15 plus 240. I think he could step up. I think Miles Kelly could be the catalyst. Right, but I'll throw it back. I'll give you another food for thought, right? When we talk about the matchups. Creighton dismantled UConn in the Big East Championship, right?
Yeah.
Right, in terms of the Big East 20.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Auburn took care of business against Creighton. Florida struggled with UConn. I'm just saying, you know, when you think about matchups, that wasn't the
It's
elite.
like a little bit of spread math there.
Little spread math. I'm just saying, you know. I'm trying to stir it.
And he did a good job of stirring it, because here's what I know. I know that after that game against Creighton, Dan Hurley locked his team in New York City for about 3 hours and had a film session about how poor they were defensively and looked a lot better coming out of it. I also think you want to talk about bounce-back spots. You're right, Kev. They are due for bounce-back spots. But Elijah Martin was 3 for 10, and Will Richard was 2 of 6 in their last game versus Texas Tech. So they're also due for bounce-back spots. You're right. You're leaning on the guards. To me, it's the big men of Hout, Chinaloo, your guy, Chinaloo, and Cognan. Those 3 could dictate why I think that Florida's going to get the win.
Let me just say this. If it wasn't Auburn as the number 1 overall seed, and the number 1 overall seed was getting disrespected in the market by Florida, Houston, and Duke, right? You take out Auburn and implement anybody you want. Would he still be talking, Kansas? Or
okay.
Would it still be the same? Oh, you'd be like, I'm getting the number 1 overall seed at a discount.
Yeah. Kind of like UCLA women's.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
It's
a little spicy. Best bets, 3-man weave. It's next.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. 4 number ones, 4 champions, 4 teams that battled and clawed their way here. But here's the thing about 4 number ones. Only one can truly be number one.
Incredibly difficult.
When the stakes are highest, there's only one place to get all your betting insights. SportsGrid. We've got you covered until only one remains. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The team we expected to be a national championship frontrunner all season long and even before the big dance. That is the Duke Blue Devils.
I don't care that people are like, oh, anticlimactic. You have the 4 best teams lined up, superstar coaches, young coaches, old coaches, veteran teams, young teams. This has got a lot of great storylines heading to the Final Four this weekend.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in. It sure is. Betting above the rim college basketball today. Kevin Walsh, Joe Lisi, Coach James Young.
Only on SportsGrid, huh?
The run through the fridge special. Best bets here. 3-man weave. My goodness, man. This guy Lisi, right before break, showing me the most ridiculous things.
Really?
Let's
Can't compose yourself.
let's hit it. Let's 3-man weave it here. See if I can finish at the end. Oh man. Oh boy. All right, Coach. Start the break here. Give us your favorite player prop for today's games.
Emmanuel Sharp
There he is.
for the city. For the city. Emmanuel Sharp. 3+ made threes at +120. Big shot maker, big shot taker. Emmanuel Sharp will knock down critical threes in this matchup as Houston, yes, I said Houston, takes out Duke.
Wow, 4 of 10 from three-point land. You have that type of productivity against Duke. They have a shot. I like them plus the 5.5. We'll see how it plays out a little bit later. Even though I like Auburn today, and I'm on props for Miles Kelly, I like Condon to step up. I know he had 7 rebounds. He was a little bit banged up, but I'm taking him up the ladder today. 10+ rebounds. You look at the price. Look at that. Plus money, baby. Alex, the pterodactyl. Condon. The wingspan. Look at that wingspan. This is the Scarface special in the 3-man weave.
I'll finish this off
happening?
with Jawan Roberts for 6.5
Ooh,
rebounds.
took your dog.
-120. Roberts has been in foul trouble in 2 of his last 3 games. As long as he can avoid that, though, he could very well play 40 minutes in this game. Getting that type of workload for the Houston big will be massive. There will be plenty of missed shots in this one, whether it goes over or under, because you have 2 absolutely brilliant defenses on display. Roberts, when he was able to avoid foul trouble against Purdue, 37 minutes. If you get that type of volume just out on the court, Roberts should get through this number with no problem. He had 12 bounds in that game against Purdue.
And then if he gets those numbers, especially near 8-10 rebounds, and he's on the floor 37 minutes, that probably leads to a win. Because I think he becomes the critical part of guarding someone like Cooper Flag.
Certainly, it would be a big part for a cover. Before we do best bets, any props, anything else we've not mentioned for these games here?
Well, again, I told you, Miles
reset
Kelly,
and re-rack.
you know, Concanipple points today.
Yeah.
Plus 134 for 20+. I told you Cooper Flag assists, 6+ at plus 135. You're on the other.
I'm on the other side.
8 assists plus 430. That's where I'm on. And I'll tell you this, for the parlay, All dogs, not on there's only one money line that I like, but the dogs with the points and the overs in both games, I'm putting them together. I'm going Dr. Contrarian.
Okay, there he goes. Coach, anything else before we get to the best bets?
Yeah, Tyrese Proctor plus 104 to make 3+ made threes. I think he's going to be the shooter. It won't be Con Knippel. And also Thomas Howell, 2+ made threes. I got 1+ made three and minus 150. It's gone too far. I think he gets 2. He'll get the shot attempts up to plus 280.
Look, there's a part of me that feels like I need to ask you twice, knowing you. You probably get something else locked in there.
He does. He got something he ain't telling us.
I've talked about it. Bacon Mazzara, Miles Kelly for 12, Will Richard for 13. We've added bets throughout this show. Walter Clayton, 4 bounds. Janai Broom hits a triple. Cooper Flagg under the 4.5 assists. Come on, Malawach as well, under 16.5 points and bounds. Only if we could a Malawach Chinaloo head-to-head points bounds special. They won't give it to me, though. Best bets time. Go ahead, one final time, Lisi. Tell them what you like.
I really like Auburn here. I told you they've won the last 4 by 12.7 points per game. They found their offensive identity, coach, with Janai Broom, 23.5 points over the last 2, 15 bounds. Miles Kelly, Pettiford, Bruce Pearl makes his way to the Natty outright, plus the 116. Dr. Contrarian special.
Whoa! Whoa, it's a chomp gator. Chomp gator.
Gator Bader. I'm taking Florida on the money line. They get it done tonight. Go Gators.
Minus 146 on that money line for me. Cougs catching 5.5. Catch and pray with the Cougs. Could you believe it? His team's got something, and it's a ton of juice. They are a fantastic three-point shooting team and one of the best defenses college has seen. They get it done tonight. Coach James Young and Joe Lisi, I'm Kevin Walsh. See ya when we see ya.
Hey sports fans, here's a tip to keep in mind the next time you make your betting picks. According to research, home field advantage is no joke, especially in those playoffs. In the NBA and the NFL postseason, the home team typically has a 64% shot at victory. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.